This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotatonetwork.com.
Watching television, watching television. Watching television, watching television. I need all the image, I need all the sound. I know the info right into my mind.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Try by Pilot. This is the show where we judge an entire series of television and the work of hundreds on one episode. I'm Bill Lynch.
I'm Elizabeth Lynch.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? That's the question.
I'm glad you asked.
Please,
I'm in agony.
fill everyone in.
If you are a loyal listener, you probably saw that I had my gallbladder removed a few weeks ago. We missed our first episode in years.
Yeah.
That was the biggest tragedy of all this. I mean, either that or my severely infected hemorrhaging gallbladder that
Yeah.
may or may not have killed me. I don't know. If I didn't get it taken care of.
I'm just curious, did we miss any when I had cancer? I don't think so.
Listen, everyone was very impressed that I was turning down the most powerful pain meds. They said I have such a high pain tolerance.
Did you tell them you put ice cubes in your coffee because it's so hot?
Well, I don't want to burn my tongue.
Oh my God.
But we're back. We're back to it. We are talking about Behind Her Eyes, a new Netflix drama mystery series.
Thriller?
Yeah.
I think it's coined a thriller.
Oh, is it quite a thriller?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, well, I saw there was a smoking warning on it. So get ready for that.
People smoking?
Yeah.
We're going to have to see people smoking?
I know. In 2021.
Jeez. I'm glad they warned us.
People still do that?
Yeah. This is based on a book.
Is it?
Yeah, I think I figured it out. How to get a show made. You
Write
just
a book?
Write a fucking book first.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be wildly popular.
Right. That's easy. Anyone can get on the New York Times bestsellers list.
I did see something the other day, like how to publish your book on Amazon, and like people just write whatever crap and put it on Amazon for a couple bucks, and they make like thousands of dollars.
Yes, I actually listened. There's like a self-help book about this. I was listening to this podcast like years ago called By the Book. I think I've told you about it.
Yes.
And one of the things they did was like how to like sell a book about anything, write a book about anything. There's some book that they followed.
Yeah.
And they each wrote their own like ebook and like sold it. One was she just like wrote a book about like the Real Housewives. One of them wrote a book about like I honestly can't remember. I haven't thought about it in so long. But like just like the most random stuff, and like people bought them.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. So, we're a little bit behind on this one. I think this came out maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was hoping to record this one and Tribes of Europa, another Netflix show, like right as they were coming out. Obviously, plans got derailed a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to get back on top of things. So the next couple weeks we'll have, I think, Tribes of Europa, and we're going to do a 2-show special with animated shows. We're going to do The Great North, and then we're going to have Billy on again to talk about Hilda for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is an animated Netflix show.
Special guest.
Special guest, yes. But right now we're talking about Behind Her Eyes. And it starts with single mom Lou, getting ready to go out. Her son comes in as she's like kind of like checking out her butt in the mirror to see if it looks good. And he goes, "What's wrong with your bum?" Her babysitter friend shows up. It's like a casual, like mom getting ready kind of scene.
Yeah.
Like one of her shirts has a stain on it, that kind of thing. But she gets ready. She looks very nice. She's at the bar, and her friend stands her up. She gets a text. And the text didn't pop up on the screen. They just showed her phone.
Right.
Because why not just do that? It looks so much less cheesy. This is a pet peeve of mine.
I know it is.
So she gets up to leave, but she bumps into this guy and spills his scotch all over his shirt. Also, he's Scottish.
Yeah.
And they talk for a while, you know, like they're having a good conversation, but she's very direct with him. Like, hey, listen, I'm not going to sleep with you.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think that for a split second, do you think that like maybe he was drinking like some like well scotch and then she's like, let me buy you another one. And he was like, Macallan 15.
No.
Because I would do that.
Well, yeah, but you're not a very, very wealthy psychiatrist who lives in a mansion.
We didn't know that about him then.
We didn't, but that didn't cross my mind. So anyway, she ends up staying for another drink. So they're both like a little bit tipsy. They go to leave the bar and like they're outside saying goodbye. Like, oh, you know, I'm going the other way. And then they just like stare at each other for a second. And then they kiss just for a moment. And then he pulls away and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And
yeah.
he like leaves in a hurry. And so the next day, Lou shows up at work and the other...
It's like the other receptionist or...
Yeah, she's like you know,
admin.
oh, the new boss is here, but he's in a meeting. And so she like peeks through the door. She's like going into the kitchen area and she sees that it's the guy from last night.
Right.
Is her new boss.
Did you guess that? I guessed it.
I only knew because I had seen previews for the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, when you go to Netflix and the opening page is like whatever popular show and it plays like 20 seconds of it? This was the show.
Oh.
And so I saw the same 20 seconds every time I signed into Netflix and it became so annoying. But yes, I knew that.
Okay.
And so he's there with his wife being introduced to one of the partners or other psychiatrists. And so she like panics, runs and hides in the bathroom as he's like being taken on a tour of the building. And then they're going somewhere else, but he'll be back tomorrow to like start in full. That night, she has a night terror where she's dreaming that someone is ODing on pills.
Yeah.
At first, I
thought it was her. At first, I thought it was her.
Okay, see, at first I thought maybe it was like her husband or boyfriend or something. You can't really see the person that well.
Yeah.
And then her son Adam is like calling out for her as he's lost down this like strange, dark, like almost like horror...
like hallway with like the walls moving, like there's stuff inside the
there's
walls.
like pulsing walls or like hands trying to push.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks scary.
Right.
You know, like for a dream sequence on a show.
At first, I thought that it was like, because you couldn't really see the figure in the bed, but because she sees the pills, and then she's standing over it, and then he's calling mommy, I thought she was ODing, and then like watching it happen, like looking at herself in the bed.
Oh, you thought that was actually happening?
No, I thought it was her dream.
Oh, okay.
I thought she was dreaming that this was going to happen. Like maybe she had like suicidal ideations or something,
Sure.
and that like that her son found her.
Oh, gotcha.
And then she's chasing him.
Yeah.
That's what I was working with.
But then she jerks awake and she's standing in her hallway and she just like starts to cry.
Right.
Then we meet Adele, who is the wife of this psychiatrist. And they're at their home, their very nice home, wishing him well on his first day. And he's being like very distant, very awkward around her. You know, and at this point...
He's like tense.
At this point, I couldn't tell, like, is it because they already have some strain on their marriage? Or is it because he kissed another woman the last, you know...
Yeah, I think it was a strain on their marriage. Like, I thought it was like him with her.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
As the episode progresses, you're like, oh, this is like a long-standing thing. So she goes over to a cabinet as they're talking and he's getting ready to go. And there are like a lot of medications in the cabinet. She gets a pill out and shows it to him and she goes down the hatch. And she takes the pill.
Yeah, he like watches her take it.
Yeah. And he goes, I'll call you. And she goes, I'll be here. Like very like clingy, strange vibe. And she says, I love you. And he says, I know. And as he leaves, like her smile fades. And then she goes back up the stairs in these like, you know, beautiful white silk pajamas. And she just lies down on top of the bed. She's doing something with her fingers, like a little fidgety thing.
It's like, I think it's like
OCD?
like a meditation, like an anxiety thing where you like if you're having like anxiety, they tell you to like tap your fingers.
Tap
like,
them together?
Yeah, like you're
okay.
counting or whatever. It's like you want to like physically touch something. It's like I'm sure it's used for a few different things, but it's like a coping.
Yeah.
mechanism.
And so Louise is at the office and she's eating a sandwich that her coworker gave her and spills ketchup on her white shirt. So she's like panicking because it's the first day that the new boss is there. And, you know, she eventually goes into his office to like, I don't know, tidy something up or welcome him. And he walks in and looks at her and is like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Because he doesn't realize it's his secretary.
Right.
So there's like a very awkward exchange.
And she says secretary. That's not just Bill saying secretary.
Yes, I'm just using the terminology that he uses. And, you know, he's apologizing and, you know, it seems genuine in this moment, his apology for like how he acted and that he kissed her at all. Mm-hmm. And they agree to forget it and move on. And they introduce themselves properly. His name's David and Louise. Mm-hmm. And then he asks her to like help him figure out the area. So they're going over different neighborhoods on the map. And he's like marking off like different parks and like places that she mentions where like people shoot up.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you doing? And he's an addiction specialist and he wants to do like community outreach and like go to these places.
Which I didn't buy at first. I was like, oh, is he concerned that his wife is going to like end up in these places?
That's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not the case. We don't know what...
Or maybe it is.
Well, we don't know what the real story is, but he mentions it again later.
Yeah.
So Adele and David have the other psychiatrists from the practice over for dinner. And, you know, they're talking about moving up there and taking the new job. And they allude to like something that urged Adele to want to move away from the old spot. But she's like real coy about it and doesn't really say anything.
She's really good in these situations. I think they were actually at dinner at somebody else's house.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah. And she's just like turning on the charm. They all love her. Like they are good at like putting on this like we are this like perfect like happy couple.
And so when they're alone that night, she says, you know, I really want this to work out. It's a new job for you, a new start for us. And he says, I can't do this again. Like, this has to be the last time. So whatever serious thing.
It is.
Yes, she goes, I know this will be. So something's gone down probably multiple times between the two of them. Then there is the sex scene. So they're doing it. And she keeps...
they're naked.
Yeah. Well, except for their hats. I thought that was a strange choice.
And their socks, right?
Yeah. Well, your feet, I understand. It's a little bit chilly.
Cold,
but
right.
So she keeps saying, I love you, like over and over again, like trying to get him to say it back, and he won't do it.
Right.
And so he like gets up. And I thought he was going to walk away, but then she just turns around and they continue.
Like, he can't even look at her face while she's saying it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she kind of like knows the drill, like... That's how I felt. It was kind of like, I need to turn around.
That's what they were implying, yeah. And then it's morning, and he's spooning her, and she has this big smile on that, like, he's actually giving her some level of affection.
Right.
But then he wakes up, and, like, she says good morning, and he's like, oh, shit. I guess he had to go.
And did you notice his arm?
I don't remember.
Oh, then you didn't. Okay. He had on his arm that she was, like, kind of stroking, it was covered in, like, burn scars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
And so we see her staring off, and as she is, we get a flashback to her with long hair, and she meets this other guy, Rob, another patient of whatever facility this is. And he reveals, like, oh, I know who you are. You're the girl whose parents were burned alive in that fire.
Oh, I thought he said, you're the girl who paints fires.
Yes, but I think it's because her parents died in a fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it took me a minute to figure out what it was that he said. And then later he's like, oh, next time paint water.
Yes.
And then fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I thought maybe he said something about her starting fires, or maybe I'm just reading into it.
I feel like maybe that's what it's going to be.
Well, yeah, I think so.
But like, I don't think he said that.
Then, you know, back in real time, David reveals to Adele that he's going to be working more weekends doing this outreach work. And so she's like clearly bothered in the moment, but like, you know, just puts on her smile and says, of course, that's fine. You need to help people. You're such a good man.
Right.
So whatever his real motivations are, I don't know if it's like just to get away from her or what it is.
Well, it's also weird because when he gives her that news, he comes out there like having breakfast outside, and he comes out and hands her a cell phone, like a flip phone. And she gets really excited, jumps up and down and says like, oh, thank you,
Yeah.
and hugs him. And then he says, well, it's because I'm going to be away more.
Right.
This. But like, what a weird like, what the hell's going on with him that, like,
Yeah.
she just gave him a freaking flip phone and,
Yeah.
yeah.
So back at the office, David's talking with Louise, and as she's like leaving his office, she goes, "Are you happy with everything?" And he like pauses, like, clearly
Right.
thinking about his marriage.
Yeah.
And she's like, here at work. And then he asks her, if she has any plans this weekend, awkwardly like stumbling and apologizing for asking that. And she's like, Adam's gonna be with his dad. I'm gonna have a spa day, but she ends up just like cleaning and grocery shopping, as
Right.
we know is what you do on your day off.
Right.
And David's face like pops into her head that night, just for like a split second. She thinks about him. Mm-hmm. Then she has another night terror. Same one. We get a better view of the person, and I still didn't recognize them. I didn't think it was her, but I could be wrong.
I couldn't tell if it could have been her mother.
Yeah.
It could have been. I mean, I don't think it was her son's father because
No, it wasn't.
We see him later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This time she awakes by bumping into her balcony wall and like cuts her arm and
fucking
like
scary.
she's in a panic.
Yeah.
The next day she's watching Great British Baking Show, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, we just saw that season.
And was that the most recent season?
No, I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
I can't remember which one it was. Well, we've seen them all. So.
They're all on Netflix, so it was a nice plug for them. And Adam's father drops him off and reveals like he and his girlfriend are getting a place in France for the summer because she's pregnant. They want to have some bonding time with Adam before the baby comes. And she's like, absolutely not.
Right.
They get into an argument, and Adam starts to overhear it because the dad already told Adam about France. And so she kicks the dad out, and Adam like runs screaming into his room. "I hate you, I hate you, I hate you." Mm-hmm. But that night her friend convinces her to let him go to France, take the month off for yourself, do some
Right.
self-care. And so she tells Adam, who's very excited. And
He's so cute, isn't he?
he's cute, yeah. And after dropping him off at school the next day, she turns a corner and bumps into, guess who?
Adele.
And Adele goes flying backward onto the ground.
Yeah.
It was very silly.
I know, it was a little silly. Like she just bumped her in the shoulder.
You like turn the corner and you bump into somebody a little bit, and like
It wasn't that hard. She
Yeah.
was walking that fast.
so Louise is apologizing, and they introduce themselves, and she reveals like, "Oh, I work for your husband. That's why I know you."
Well, she could have been a little bit smoother with that, but she was so shocked, and she goes, "It's you,"
Yes.
which like immediately makes Adele like she's just kind of like, "Well, do I know you?" And she's like, "Oh no, I work with your husband."
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's kind of like suspicious or
I couldn't tell.
suspicious or intrigued. It's hard to actually read Adele
Right.
at all. So opportunistic, thinking she's gonna hear like get to know more of her husband.
Maybe that seems the most likely.
Yeah.
And so Adele asks Louise out for a coffee. She doesn't know the neighborhood. And so, she really doesn't want to, but she reluctantly agrees.
Mm-hmm.
And Adele seems to be like maybe checking her out once or twice.
Oh really?
I don't know if it was in a sexual way. Yeah, twice. Once when they're first talking, and then she's like, "Oh, you lead the way, I'll follow." And as Louise starts to walk, she like looks down at her, I thought, butt, and like gives it like a little smirk, and then catches up with her.
I didn't really. I don't think I caught that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that could be like her. I mean, yeah, she could have been checking her out. She also could have been like, "All right, who's this woman, this attractive woman that works with my husband?"
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell what that was.
And that's where the pilot ends. It ends as they stroll down the street together.
Yes.
So what did you think of Behind Her Eyes?
I liked it.
I figured you would.
Yeah. I did. Well, I'm interested. I'm like intrigued by what's gonna happen. What's thriller about it?
Right. Yeah, I liked it too. It felt very grounded and realistic, which I liked, except for a few forced moments, most notably Adele falling over, Louise leaning back in her chair to eat this like sloppy breakfast sandwich as she's wearing a white silk blouse.
Yeah.
Like, come on. It was like, and
Also, it's a bacon sandwich with ketchup. Is just like, ugh.
her getting ketchup on her shirt like didn't do anything Like, it didn't have anything to do with moving the plot forward?
No,
or...
it didn't. But when she came in, she was very nervous about seeing him that day. So when she came in, she takes her jacket off, and there's like a sweat stain on her back.
Yes.
She's got pit stains, and now she's messed up her shirt. And I think it was just kind of like adding to this, like,
I guess.
Okay, I'm having like the worst morning, and I have to like confront this guy.
Sure. It was just a ham-fisted way of like getting ketchup on her shirt.
Sure.
So that's a minor complaint. Those like 2 or 3 like little moments. But I thought the acting was really good. I was predicting a lot of stuff that happened in the pilot and like guessing where it was going to go. Mm-hmm. And like looking out, I think I can guess where certain things are going to happen. But I've also heard that towards the end of the season, there's like a big twist that you don't see coming. So I am intrigued to find out what that is. And you know, I thought the pilot felt really tight. Like there's really just 3 characters.
Yeah. And it's interesting that like the pilot really reveals nothing about, like, you don't know, like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, assuming it's something with Adele, like that she's going to do something.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
like,
they set up Adam going away for the summer so Louise can have an affair with this psychiatrist. She's going to fall in love with him, and they're going to start either sleeping together or something. Probably sleeping together. And it's going to go from there.
Okay.
And that's the reason I see for like getting the son out of the picture. So she can have this like month free to go out and do whatever.
I was thinking that it was like maybe, well, I guess that fits in with it too. But just like he's there, so like nobody would know if she like didn't come home.
Yeah, right.
Like, what is it? But like in a bad way.
Oh,
You know?
well, maybe.
Like if someone tries to kill her.
Maybe. Yeah, I thought like the night terror sequences were like genuinely tense for like a non-horror show. Like they were scary.
Yeah.
I think this is only 6 episodes.
Okay, I'm in.
Um,
I'll watch it. I like it.
We better watch a lot of TV before you have to go back to the office.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do. You're watching like 40 shows right now.
I'm not watching 40 shows right now, but I am watching Call My Agent. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm only 3 episodes in. If you want to catch up, we can watch this together. It's 4 seasons, so I don't know if you want to commit to it.
No, no way.
All right, I'm just going to watch it by myself then.
Do it. 4 seasons? What the fuck?
What? We're watching Battlestar Galactica.
But we're not.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
Okay.
It's on Netflix, everybody. It's a French show. It's just like a really nice, you know, we like to watch a lot of subtitle shows.
Yeah.
So. But this one's fun. What?
Okay.
You can't understand why I would start another show?
No, I just find it laughable that you would ask me if I wanted to catch up to you and watch another 4-episode series. We have like 8 shows that we're trying to watch.
I know. All right, this will be mine.
Yeah. So yeah, this one's only 6 episodes. It was like, I think 50 minutes.
Yeah.
This pilot. It started to feel a little bit long, like at the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, like there's another scene, like another scene. But then, you know, it was only like another 5 or so minutes after that. But otherwise, you know, I thought the pacing was good. Like I said, it was very tight. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I'll probably continue to watch.
Yeah.
As well.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the twists are going to be. Mm-hmm. I hope it's not as predictable as I felt this first episode was. Like,
okay.
I don't know what's coming. So whatever happened in the first episode that I kind of saw coming already in the pilot, and like what I think is going to come in the next 2 or 3 episodes, I hope it's not as predictable as that.
Yeah.
But then I hope the twist is really good. Otherwise it's a very well done, but not entirely exciting, like new novel experience.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Which is fine. Sometimes a well done show is great.
Right.
But I hope there's like something really cool in there somewhere. But yeah, I would recommend it.
Same. Me too.
Do you think it'll get a second season on Netflix?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been in their top 10 since it came out. So
Oh, really?
I assume it's doing well.
Yeah.
Most of their like somewhat high budget shows are in their top 10 for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Where is Firefly Lane in their rankings? Do you know?
It's still in their top 10 as of this recording, but maybe it's like 6 or 8 or something like that.
I gave up on it. I just want to update
did you?
the listeners on it. Yeah, I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's boring. It was a stupid show. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it.
I mean, critically, I don't think it's doing very well. I think a lot of just casual fans are watching it. But
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
yeah.
There's nothing really grabbed me.
How many episodes did you watch?
I think I watched 2 episodes. So just one more after after the pilot, and
Okay.
then I started in on the 3rd, and then I was just like, I don't care. I think I like couldn't finish it for some reason. Like I had to like turn it off, and then I just was like, I'm not going to go back to that. It was really kind of boring.
Yeah.
I don't care what happened.
Oh, good.
So
Glad to see you boot something to the curb.
yeah, that's out there. I also stopped. I think for now, I stopped that crash landing on you.
The
That
Korean, show? Yeah.
Yeah, the episodes are really long. And I just, like...
Is it, the first episode was like 90 minutes or something?
Yeah. No, it's like you're watching a movie. Each episode is a movie.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen an episode and a half, which like in any other show is like the whole season. So...
How many episodes are there? Like 4?
No, it's like a full season.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So I don't, I might go back to it, but I also wasn't like super pulled into it where like it was really worth it for me to watch that many hours of a show. You know? The Call My Agent thing, like absolutely. It's like, it totally pulls you in. It's fun. It's a fun show.
Did it just go up on Netflix? Because it's 4
What?
seasons and I haven't heard of it. Call
Call
My
My
Agent.
Agent? I'm actually not sure when it went up on Netflix, but it has been on there for a while. It's not like immediately. Like I heard someone talking about it like within the last year, recommending it, and that like the last season just aired.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's probably why it like popped up a little bit more.
Interesting. So if you had a chunk of time right now to watch one of the shows that we're watching, what are you going to?
That we're watching together.
Yeah.
Probably WandaVision.
Oh, that's perfect because that's what we'll watch after.
Yeah, I
this
know.
recording session.
But that... Okay,
We-
I know
we ha-
I criticize
We
when
happen to be
shows-
recording on a Friday, so
Yeah.
a new episode came out that we haven't seen yet.
I criticize when shows are released weekly as opposed to being able to binge them all together. But I like this because this now forces us like, okay, no, Friday night. Like now I remember that like that joy of like waiting for your show to come on.
Yeah.
We're not like, oh, we got to catch up on that. Like, oh no, we can catch up on it. We can have time. It's one episode
Yeah.
on a Friday night. We can do that
Yeah, it's
because
cool.
we're not going anywhere.
Right. I will say I've had to try a little bit harder to avoid spoilers on weeks where we can't watch it right away. I just feel like society in general, if you're not going to like whatever 4chan forums, has become pretty good at not spoiling streaming shows. Because, Netflix puts up a 10-episode season. Some people binge it that day.
Right.
Usually you have a little bit of time before major spoilers start popping up in memes and stuff, right? With this, I think people just assume like it's only 25 minutes. Like if you're watching the show, you're probably watching it on Friday, so we can talk about it on the weekend, right?
Right.
And like I'm seeing like memes of Agnes and all this other stuff. So it's become a little bit harder. I haven't had anything major spoiled, but I've seen some things.
Okay. See, I haven't had anything spoiled, but also I feel like maybe we're following different accounts.
Oh, I'm sure.
So like I don't know if I would see
Yeah,
it
and
as much.
I probably have more friends that are into
Right.
the show. So
Yeah. But I'm really enjoying it. I really, really like it.
yeah, I'm glad. Maybe we can dig into it a little bit on the 3rd anniversary show. Our
Okay.
3rd anniversary show, which is coming up
Yeah.
sometime in March, or a future recap or something. I would like to talk about it a little bit more in depth.
Yeah. So that's interesting that you bring up about spoilers, because I was just listening to a podcast the other day and they were talking about spoilers, and these the three people that were talking about it were saying that they love spoilers. They prefer spoilers. And if a show's really tense, they have to read the spoilers first before they watch the show. And these are also people, one of them said that they actually will read the last chapter of a book when they start it. I'm not like super, I'm not going to be really disappointed if there's something gets spoiled for me. I'm
whatever.
not like that, like freaked out about it. I do like to be surprised though.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I.
I just think it's odd that someone, like, their anxiety's so bad or something. Like, how does that work?
I forget who it was. Maybe it was like Kira, like one of my past friends, not past friends, like, you know.
Jeez.
I don't know why I said it like that. They would like
It's a pandemic, Bill. We haven't seen anybody in a year.
They would read like the synopses for shows before they watched the show. So they would like know everything that was going to happen because they didn't want to be surprised. It's so weird.
No, I mean, the way these people were describing it was that, like, they were, especially if a show was tense, that they would get too anxious.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enjoyable for them. They wanted to know what was going to happen. I've just, like, never...
Just read a book.
Well, I've also just, like, never even thought of that as a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, I do watch shows and I'm, like, uncomfortable sometimes because it's tense.
Yeah.
But I never thought to go ahead and read what was going to happen first. I'm curious if that would change my experience if I read, like, a spoiler before I watched it.
Yeah, because, I don't know, watching it, you're still getting so many more sensory elements that's adding to the tension. It's not just knowing something. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't know. I guess it depends on the show, too.
Right.
How atmospheric it is or something. All right. Anything else to say about Behind Her Eyes?
No. Oh, damn. I missed, there was something I was going to say, that there was no love behind his eyes. But I missed it. I had it in my notes and everything. So on that note, that's it.
If you have suggestions on shows for us to watch, you can email us at trialbypilot@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at trialbypilot. And please go on to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you're listening to this, and leave us a review and subscribe to the show and tell a friend.
And thank you to the Beats for providing our theme music.
Thanks, Beats.
Bye.
Bye.
Watching